どれ？餃子？いちごが転がっちゃった。
ハッピーハネムーン。
セブンイレブンでもう一本来たよ。下にもしてる。便利だね。空港が分かれてるけど、電車
着場が
なんか丸い何かがある。ここがセールなんじゃないかしら。何か丸い何かに入っていきます。アトラクション感がすごいです。やばい。見れます。あ、見て、開いた扉が。これはちょっと写真あれ撮った方が良かったんじゃない？
これさ、あれだよ、最後来た時さ、めっちゃ時間あるからさ、もうしまってるでしょ。むしろ2から1行く時の方
すごいね。これが10、これが10。
あえてさ、ゆっくりにしてくれたよね。
うん。
やっぱ
観光なんだよ。
ジュエルも楽しそうだな。
楽しそう。
やばいな、ジュエルで1日かかっちゃうよ。この黄色、なんか試し的なやつ。
こ
Nawain na.
真。
そう夜も監禁したいな、もう一回。
いいね。また来ます。見えてきました。
somehow we didn't care. Way back then, we saw all the movies on a big screen when we couldn't afford to pay the price. We snuck in through the back, hearts racing as the lights went black. Hold up, when did we grow up? When did dreams give way to plans? Wonder slip through our hands. Just hold up, just hold up. Way back now, I watched them in the yard and wonder how the world still feels that wide. Skin knees and open skies, no fear behind their eyes. Hold up, when did we grow up? When did dreams give way to plans? Wonder slip through our heads. Just hold up, just hold up.
You okay?
はい。
opposite. And all my friends are leaving, but I wanna stay here. Can we just stay here? Maybe just one more drink. I can't help but think, where have you been? All my life, all the lonely nights, you were always there at the same damn bar. I just never lose your way. And I've seen every ocean, but I've never seen a color blue. Look into your eyes. Blue.
アルコールはあっちのブラジルの方かな。
「 Every time that my mind slip, I just see my past life. Having dreams in a dream, I wonder why I carried on with the things that made you lose your mind. There's no way I can undo what I've done. Can we be strangers again, start fresh like a morning? What's so bad about that? So why won't you follow? Why won't you follow me home? I know I can't make you mine. Yes, I ran out of town. There's no hope for me. I fell down the bottom, so I fell down way deep. But if I can't have the real you, then let me make a 3D print of you. Saying that I'm better off alone. They don't know what it feels like, but I do. So you faded out while I was too damn obsessed with myself. Wanna hit the reverse on what's broken. Can we be strangers again, start fresh like a morning? But what's so bad about that? So why won't you follow? Why won't you follow me home? I know I can't make you mine. Yes, I ran out of time. There's no hope for me. I fell down the bottom, so I fell down way deep. But if I can't have the real you, then let me make a 3D print of you. In the dark, so I miss my target. It's the time to move on, but I cannot. I shoot in the dark, so I miss my target. It's the time to move on, you know. So why won't you follow? Why won't you follow me home? I know I can't make you mine. Yes, I ran out of time. There's no hope for me. I fell down the bottom, so I fell down way deep. But if I can't have the real you, then let me make a 3D print of you. 3D of you, of you, of you, 3D of you. Yeah, of you, of you, of you.
かかってる。
いけない。
コーラル。コーラルね。
コーラルだって。ああ。
Trees aren't green, the ocean is gray, sky is a vague blue, come my way. My room is a mess, it could use a hand. My favorite TV shows to capture in. I know must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise, I think I'll let it slide. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems, I know I can't make it through. Every night is the same, I keep running fast, left and right, wondering where my head's gone now. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems, I know. All of my problems, I know. Where did it go? The feeling of thirst, desire to be a rock in my heels. I'm numb as a poison, flows in my veins. Guess I got used to avoiding the pain. I know must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise, I think I'll let it slide. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems, I know I can't make it through. Every night is the same, I keep running fast, left and right, wondering where my head's gone now. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems, I know. All of my problems, I know. Maybe I need a break, maybe that's why I fade into this bitter taste. I think I'll let it be.